5 things you didn't know about ALF, next on Retro Serial. Beloved NBC sitcom ALF ran for an impressive 4-season, airing from 1986 to 1990. The main character, ALF, which stands for Alien Life Form, whose real name on the show is Gordon Shumway, crash lands into the roof of the garage of the Tanner family. ALF's home planet, Melmac, is destroyed, and now his space vehicle is inoperable, leaving him with no place to go. But don't worry, the Tanner family is going to take him in. But ALF has to hide from pesky neighbors who might turn him into the government, and the government itself who wants to do experiments on ALF. An alien with strange customs, a wholesome, run-of-the-mill suburban family, a government that's out to get you, pesky neighbors. Well, this just makes for great comedy. The cast was comprised of Max Wright, who played Father Willie Tanner, and Shadeen, who played mother and wife Kate, Andrea Elson, who played wholesome daughter Lynn, and Ben Gregory, who played impressionable son Brian. And of course, there was legendary puppeteer Paul Fusco, who played ALF. And while you may have already known all of this, here are 5 things you may not have known about ALF. However, before we get to that, please do me the honor of hitting that like button, hit the subscribe button. Also, hit the bell notification if you want to know when these things are available so you don't miss a single episode of Retro Serial. And please leave a comment in the comments below. Also, share this on your favorite social media. Those things right there are all free to do, and they mean the world to us here at Retro Serial, as we are desperately trying to grow the channel so that we can become monetized and share better quality videos with you. If you want to go an extra step and help us out financially, please visit our Patreon page, where you'll find 2 levels of support. Things have changed over there just a tad, so I just want to let you know real quick that I have made the tip jar now the Cornflake Club. So if you're in part of the tip jar, you're actually part of the Cornflake Club, and I've made the Cornflake Club now the Honeycomb Hideout. So for $3 a month, you can be part of the Cornflake Club, which is just a tip jar saying, hey, thanks, we like what you're doing over at Retro Serial, keep it up. But if you want to be part of that Honeycomb Hideout, where you get most all videos and most all podcasts at least 1 day in advance, then that is $5 a month. But with all that said, let's get to our 5 facts. Coming in at number 5, what you didn't know about Gordon Shumway. Of course, everyone, even a passive watcher of the show, knows that ALF's home planet is Melmac, and that he has a love for cats, to eat them, that is. But here are a couple things that you might not know about this beloved character. First of all, his birthday was October 28th, 1756. Yes, 1756. And he had 2 sisters, a half-sister and a full sister. His full sister, Aggie, is mentioned in the cartoons, and his half-sister, Diane, is mentioned in the trading cards. And he has 8 stomachs. This probably explains why he's always eating all the time on the show, and why he wants to eat that pesky Tanner family cat. Those are 3 things I didn't know until I did the research for this show. Were there anything about the actual character that you didn't know? Leave it in the comments section below. And coming in at number 4, ALF Looks Different. Yeah, I noticed this as a kid, that the look of ALF wasn't exactly consistent. And if you go back and look now, it's kind of pretty obvious. I mean, it's not so different that you don't know it's ALF, but it's different enough that makes me point this out. And the point is that there were actually 3 different ALFs. That's right. There were 2 puppets that actually looked different. And then whenever they needed to show Alf kind of at a full scale, like running to the cat or running away from a neighbor or something like that, that was actually a suit that was worn by actor Michu Mazuris. Now, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that name, and he actually should have been mentioned in the cast, but he actually played Alf and he wore a suit, but the suit's head was a little bit big, and so this caused it to look considerably different. So if you've noticed that there was not quite a consistency in all the Alfs, well, now you know the reason for that. Coming in at number 3, Alf goes through a moral reform. While Alf is a furry, lovable alien adored by children across the world, he is an adult. Yes, he's over 200 years old, and that is why Alf drinks in the first episode. However, because he is such a big hit with the kids, the producers of Alf insisted that he no longer drink and that his ongoing gag about eating cats be kept to a minimum. Yes, Alf had to be a role model for children across the world. A sad tragedy is that one kid actually tried to microwave a cat, and in an episode of Alf, he tries to make a whirlpool bubbly bathtub, and he does so by bringing in an electric beater. And at the beginning of that episode, there's this PSA about how you shouldn't try this at home. So Alf had to go through this moral reform as he was becoming more and more popular with the kids. Do you think that was a good idea? I mean, he was an adult, and apparently the writers of the show and the main writer who puppeted Alf wanted him to be a little bit more crass and wanted him to continue to be a bit of a drinker, but they said, you can't, because kids watch this and kids love Alf, and you're being a bad influence on those kids. What do you think? Do you think the producers overstepped their boundaries on this one? Do you think the writers were right? Let me know in the comments section below. And taking the number 2 position, Alf was a technical nightmare. In order to make Alf, the stage where the actors performed was elevated 4 feet off the ground. As a result, Fusco and sometimes other puppeteers had to be cramped underneath the stage in order to make Alf come alive. Furthermore, Alf was unable to be filmed in front of a live studio audience or even have a laugh track. This was because Fusco, who was also doing the voice of Alf while under the stage, had to wear a headset, and the laugh track in the audience interfered with his dialogue and him being able to hear correctly. And even the laugh track that you hear on the show is dubbed in later. As a matter of fact, things were so bad as far as technical aspects of Alf were concerned that it took up to 20 hours to film a single episode. And coming in at number 1 is There Is No Resolve for Alf for the true Alf fans. The last episode of Alf ends on a cliffhanger to be continued. It sees Alf being contacted by some of his alien friends who want to start a new Melmac. However, the government also intercepts this conversation he has with his friends, and just as Alf is going to meet his friends, the government closes in, his friends leave him, and he is stuck there with his imminent capture. What happened to Alf? Well, we don't know, because season 5 was canceled due to the dramatic decline in ratings over season 4. There was going to be a final hour-long episode tying all loose ends together, but NBC scrapped the idea. And finally, in 1996, there was a made-for-TV movie called Project Alf, where things are, well, I guess you could say resolved. However, true Alf fans reject this made-for-TV movie because none of the human cast returned in the movie. Not a single actor decided to come back to film this episode. So a lot of true Alf fans say we don't really never know what happened to Alf because that movie isn't part of the canon. What do you think? Do you think the movie should be included on the canon? Were you happy with what happened in the movie? Did you see the movie? Let me know in the comments section below. Are you one of those true diehard ALF fans that don't consider the movie to be part of the canon? Let me know that. I'm going to let you battle it out in the comments section below. I'm Ian C. You've been watching Retro Serial. Thanks for joining me on this episode. Please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell notification if you want to know when these things are available. Share it on your favorite social media. And like I said, if you want to go an extra step further, you're always welcome to visit our Patreon page where you can leave a tip in the tip jar, which is part of our Cornflake Club, or you can join our Honeycomb Hideout where you receive all videos and all podcasts, well, most all videos and most all podcasts one day in advance. And until we meet again, stay retro, everyone.